Things are heating up, and the latest Hollywood whisper is no longer just a tabloid gossip, it's becoming a full blown media crisis.
The whole Meghan Markle situation has been getting out of control, not just over at Netflix, but also at other studios ever since she posted that viral video, that pregnancy video.
Meghan Markle is preparing to sue Netflix, and it's not just speculation. Her camp is reportedly assembling legal firepower while her communications team quietly braces for the impact. Now, this was supposed to be her crown jewel. Now, when the deal was signed, Netflix didn't just see Meghan and Harry as talents. They saw them as a cultural phenomenon. I don't know why, but they did. And they paid over $100 million for exclusivity, access, and influence. Damn, that's crazy. And in return, they expected global hits and long-term loyalty. But now that partnership has collapsed into chaos.
That really backfired not just on whatever was left of her image, or even, of course, what she actually likes to pretend herself as some form of an actress, as some kind of a personality, whatever it may be.
Netflix executives are allegedly done with her. The enthusiasm that once surrounded her royal glow has vanished completely. And behind closed doors, the unraveling is accelerating. Her team can't contain the leaks. The platform wants out, and they're already taking steps to separate. This is no mere content dispute. This is a corporate divorce between a Silicon Valley behemoth and one of the most brand-aware women in the world. And Meghan isn't walking away without a fight.
We already know that Meghan Markle is desperately clinging to whatever opportunity arises to stay in the limelight, to stay in the spotlight as, of course, a so-called actress. That's basically what she's trying to do.
The Archwell Netflix deal was sold to the public as a creative alliance rooted in storytelling and purpose. Internally, Netflix viewed it as a high-profile swing at securing cultural dominance through prestige talent. But that narrative is over. What began as a celebration of modern royalty quickly turned into a boardroom liability. Executives are now focused on risk management. Meghan Markle is no longer considered a safe investment. Her media presence has become polarizing. Viewership dropped sharply after the initial documentary buzz faded, and the interest of the fan has cooled down. Now, internal documents reportedly describe the relationship as unsustainable. I mean, who can work with her, honestly? Anyways, maybe I'm just talking I don't even know her, so what am I saying? Anyways, producers close to the project are being reassigned. Development meetings have been canceled. PR teams have shifted focus away from the Sussex altogether. That is crazy, to say Sussex. Anyways, let me know if I'm saying that wrong. The buzzwords floating around internal memos are clear. They're saying they're divisive, volatile, and very fatiguing. In an industry that thrives on buzz and perception, fatigue is fatal. The Netflix doesn't want a prolonged fight. They want clean separation. And they are already executing that plan behind the scenes. Meghan went from media darling to strategic liability. Netflix is choosing to protect its future over, preserving an image with the royals.
Now, we already know that many studios are beginning to really find her very repulsive based on her behavior, not just in the public eye, but also within Netflix, alright? Now, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with the entire Meghan Markle firings situation and exactly what's going on there ever since the viral video post really went viral across not just social media, but also within the corporate ladder.
And Meghan is responding to the breakup the only way she knows how, with paperwork, lawyers, and a full-force legal escalation. Her legal team is reportedly preparing a case that challenges the very framework of the Netflix partnership. Sources close to her suggest she's exploring everything from breach of contract to reputational damage and internal sabotage. And for some talent, I think she's suing for talent as well. She believes Netflix failed to uphold its end of the deal. By the way, I did like her on Suits, though. I would say that. And that's before all this stuff. Anyways, she believes her projects were neglected. Also, her creative voice was sidelined and the company mishandled the rollout of her brand. This is not a new territory for Meghan. She has previously sued tabloids for publishing private letters. She went after British press outlets for character defamation. She's pursued legal action against her own sister, and her approach to conflict is methodical, legal, and relentless. To Meghan, Netflix is not just a former business partner, it's a giant that dropped the ball on the one thing she values the most: her image, her sweet, sweet image. And in her eyes, this is not about content delivery, it's about betrayal.
Now, what's interesting about all of this is that we already know that Meghan Markle is actually trying to do whatever that she can do to fund her own programs, to fund her own projects as well. You know, we already know that she has backup plans to actually fund her very own reality TV series if no other studio picks it up. We already know that she's trying to get MTV.
This lawsuit is personal, it's also strategic, and if it reaches the courts, which I don't think it will, but if it does, it won't be settled in the headlines. It will be fought through affidavits, emails and all that crap. As you guys may well know, if you guys are following that Blake Lively saga. So Netflix basically, seized the moment when Meghan and Harry were the most recognizable, people on the planet because of their little exit. They seized the moment. The curiosity of the public was at an all-time high, so they decided to go with it, and they took a gamble. Executives at the top believe that they could deliver like a new kind of prestige content, documentaries, children's programming, social commentary. Do they really believe that? I don't know, man. I don't know who can look at them and be like, yo, you'll be great for this. I don't know what happened there. But what Netflix ended up getting, they got like a docuseries that trended for a week, a podcast that failed to expand, and an animated series that is now shelved and it has 0 episodes that were produced. And internally, Netflix started reviewing the numbers. The analysis was not favorable. The Archwell partnership did not just underperform, it became a drain. Investors question basically what's going on, and also the shareholders. Now, Netflix is entering a cleanup mode. They're carefully phrasing in their press briefings how they're going to exit. They're wrapping this relationship in silk while cutting it off behind the scenes. And they're not announcing failure, they're just managing this fallout. And as you guys may well know, Hollywood runs on relationships and the image. So this lawsuit is more than just about content disputes or creative control. It's about Meghan's collapsing reputation inside this industry that once bent over backward to accommodate her. Now, studio insiders and former collaborators are no longer mincing words. The terms being used behind closed doors aren't flattering. They're alarming. They're saying words like difficult, uncooperative, litigious, and brand risk. These are not isolated opinions. These are emerging as a consensus. Now, the effect is spreading fast. Projects are being shelved before they start. Producers are pushing meetings. Executives are quietly declining her proposals. PR firms are reportedly advising clients to avoid getting publicly linked to her unless absolutely necessary. This isn't fear. Sounds to me like it's fatigue. Now, Meghan has once carried the allure of global intrigue. Did she though? I don't know. I think she did, right? Obviously, people liked her. I think people still do, but I think anybody with some sense knows that she's very exhausting. Just looking at her in the PR and her podcast, it's just very exhausting to look at her. And basically, all this, the people in the industry are not tired of navigating all this crazy stuff. They don't want the lawsuits. They don't want the leaks. They want stability. The freeze out isn't dramatic or loud. It's quiet and corporate. It's showing up in cancel calls, redirected emails, and cold silence. It's already begun. And Meghan, who has always been hyper-aware perception, and feels it closing in. Everyone's coming for her, and I'm here for it. This legal action is a calculated move, not a reactive one. Meghan's lawsuit isn't just a courtroom strategy, it's a media maneuver designed to regain control of the story. Netflix dropping her would confirm every criticism: failed output, poor retention, lack of substance. But Meghan reframing this as a betrayal flips the dynamic entirely. The lawsuit allows her to recast herself as a woman wronged by a corporate giant that exploited her image, pocketed the hype, and walked away when she needed support. This tactic follows a familiar pattern. She has used legal proceedings before to reset her public position. The lawsuits against the British press weren't just about privacy, they were about regaining leverage. The suit against her sister wasn't just about defamation, it was about drawing boundaries on her terms. The Netflix lawsuit is being deployed the same way. When the narrative slips out of her control, she pulls it back with litigation. It positions her as a fighter, the underdog, the one willing to go to war for what she believes she was promised. This isn't about content performance anymore. This is about Meghan regaining control over the only thing that ever really mattered to her brand, the narrative. And now, of course, Harry's dragged into this, because, he's a part of it. He signed the deal. His name was on the contract. His face was in the meetings. He is every bit as legally attached to the Netflix partnership as Meghan is. But the blame, the fallout, the press frenzy, it's all circling Meghan, and Harry's getting pulled down with her. This isn't collateral damage, it's direct impact. His team is already trying to get ahead of it. They're managing optics, reworking media pitches, and quietly testing alternate partnership opportunities. But the Netflix implosion is a stain that doesn't wash out. This was supposed to be the crown jewel of their media empire. Now, it's a cautionary tale. There are whispers inside royal circles and nonprofit boards that Harry's name has become harder to book. Sponsorship deals are moving slowly. Foundations are proceeding with caution, and now no one wants to end up on the wrong side of a streaming lawsuit or a media circus. Harry's original plan was to build a global identity outside of the royal family that required allies, credibility, and steady influence. This Netflix scandal undermines all three. Right now, he isn't guiding the strategy, he's reacting to it. And with every new leak, every new report, and every new legal filing, his image takes another hit. Now, I want to remind you guys that this moment isn't an isolated setback, it's the final crack in the Meghan Markle Foundation. Every major deal Meghan has touched since 2020 has either fizzled, flopped, or been quietly buried. Spotify pulled out after minimal output and weak listener engagement. Pearl was canceled before production. The Archetypes podcast delivered headlines, not loyalty. The book rumors dried up. The Netflix docuseries peaked early and vanished from public conversation within days. Netflix was the last platform holding the illusion of Meghan's media relevance together. That illusion is now gone, and what replaces it? A probable lawsuit, not a creative pitch, not a new project announcement, a probable lawsuit. This isn't just career regression, it's public strategic unraveling. And if this lawsuit proceeds, Discovery will be crazy. I'm telling you that right now. It'll be crazy. Now the world won't be seeing filtered docuseries anymore. They'll be reading redacted court filings coming up, baby. And it seems to me there's no more brand to protect. The narrative is out. The deals are dead. The network of support is shrinking, and this isn't a reputation dip. It's an identity collapse. Crazy. Now the public image Meghan worked so hard to build is being stripped down to its legal bones. There's no soft focus in a deposition. There's no background music in a discovery hearing. And this is the collapse of a carefully crafted empire. The end of an era. Meghan's empire is collapsing. Harry is in the wreckage, and Netflix is gone, and the mask of control has finally slipped. If this lawsuit does move forward, the story won't be told in interviews or documentaries. It'll be told in court, baby, and I cannot wait for it. Hit like if you're watching it unravel in real time. Drop a comment with what you think will leak first, and subscribe if you want to or don't. It is all good. I just appreciate you watching. And because this saga isn't over, there's much more to come. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Thank you.